Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and in today's video is going to be talking about the Blackrock Depths raid event that's coming out this Tuesday, the 22nd, and the items in it. Now, I don't think this is going to be a very long video, but I've been getting a lot of questions about, are any items good? How do the trinkets look? What is the eye level? How do you do it? And thankfully, there's a really awesome article. It's written on Wowhead by Neri, which we're going to review here, talking about that. Look at some things in game and talk about why some things are good or could be good, why some are not the best, and just give you all a general breakdown of how things look from the event. Because the gear, honestly, it's not too bad. If you guys want any Week Wars add-ons of the video, like always, links to Twitch, Discord, the website, all down below if you want them, all for free for you guys. And yeah, let's get it rolling. Alrighty, so I'd like to show you how things are actually in game in the vendors and loot tables and stuff, but unfortunately PTR is down. Thankfully, Neri wrote this awesome article on Wowhead with all the information you might need. So we're going to review it here. I have some lock sims as well coming up, and a little bit of in-game stuff also, so not just only this article, but this is pretty universal for, I guess, most everyone, honestly, if you're looking at, like, you know, Blackrock Depths of gearing and content and all that. So there are 4 tiers in Blackrock Depths. 2 bosses, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 7, and the final boss being Emperor Dagron Thessarian. There's some lore with the guy in the game now, I don't know actually, but hey, it's probably there. The cool thing about this is that there are 3 different difficulties: Raid Finder, Normal, and Heroic. And Heroic drops hero gear. The final boss being 619, 616, 613, and 610 respectively. Now, I don't know how tuning is. I didn't do any raid testing. It was during the race world first and all that, but I would expect it to not be too difficult, but I mean, you know, we'll see where it goes. Now, a very cool system it's back is essentially like Dinars in a sense. You can purchase gear from the raid using relic coffer keys. Raid Finder, Normal, and Heroic drop their own versions of these respectively. You can turn in 40 of these to purchase an item from the vendor, which I believe is in Dinars. Once again, PTR is down. I can't show you, I'm sorry, but I'm sure it'll be easy to find whenever the patch comes out. You can hold a max of 120, and each key has their own respective level, being 597, 610, and 623. Just high levels, so I mean, you know, tables up here. 584 from Veteran, all the way to 593. For Raid Finder, Normal being 597 to 606, and Heroic being, you know, all the way up to higher hero track. Now, you need 40 of these to purchase one of the items from the vendor. It says you can purchase a total of 3 items per difficulty. So I guess it sounds like it's just 3 from here, 3 from here, 3 from here, and you're locked out. But, you know, for the most part, it's probably a good way to gear alts, and depending where your main's at, maybe a few pieces here and there, which we'll get to in a minute. Another thing here, it's not listed here, but there are, I mean, what says it here? There are 8 bosses that you can kill, which drop 3 relic coffer keys and 5 mini bosses. So you're looking at about, if my Florida math is right, around like 30 to 35 per clear, like per each difficulty. But once again, they correspond to specific difficulties. So, you know, you can't go clear Normal, Heroic, Raid Finder and buy a Heroic piece. You'll have, you know, 30-ish of this, 30 of this, and 30 of this, right? So you're looking at, I mean, if math is correct, basically 2 weeks to buy one item, and week 2 will carry over into week 3. So you have like 20 going into week 3 when you get a re-clear and you can buy another item. It should snowball essentially, which is nice, sort of how Dinars did in a sense, with more drops and all of that. Now, as far as gearing is concerned, so there are some items in the raid, if you look through here, it's mentioned, that are on boss loot tables, and there are some items, their number of drops have never made it into the loot list of the main bosses of the raid. Unless this changes from the actual, you know, PTR version we got, some items come exclusively from relic coffer purchases, and below are all the items here. Below we have Blackrock Depths that comes exclusively from relic coffer purchases. Relic coffer being basically the Dinars, right? So you have this cape, rings. There are a couple items in the actual raid here that do indeed have like unique effects on them, like they give a bit of mana back if you spend some health. I believe one, if you get meleeed, it does damage to the attacker. But for the most part, they're just like basic, you know, crit verse, mastery haste items. Right here, here's a dagger. Your melee attacks have a chance to cause a target to bleed for a decent bit over half a minute. Not bad. If it's like if it's like not lesser agility or damage, it might be worthwhile grabbing at hero level, right? Blood Fist, to a similar extent, have a chance to wound the target, dealing damage to them. Enthralled Spear, a bow, also doing damage to beasts, so it hurts me. Hopefully somebody got the joke there. It's basically that. But there are some unique items in the raid as well, which might be worth looking at depending on what you're doing. Now, obviously, you know, Jewelry, necks, and rings, pretty sought after in most settings. Everybody wants them. Tanks, healers, DPS. This ring here, when struck in combat, you have a chance to inflict arcane damage to the attacker. Maybe a decent tank ring, we'll see. Besides that, crit haste ring, you've got a haste first ring, some necks here and there, and keep in mind you can indeed buy sockets for these things just from the actual auction house. So if these are hero level and stats you might want, this could very well be a sought after ring for tanks. Maybe some melee want it, not really sure, but it's a possibility. As a clothy, as a warlock, probably not super interested in it, but there's that. Now, as far as cloth drops are concerned, there's one here, Circle of Flame. On use, minute cooldown, channel some health into 10,000 mana every 1 second for 10 seconds. I don't heal. I have no idea if this is good. It sounds decent. I don't know, but it's an option. Once again, will be at hero track. You cannot buy sockets for these. Only like necks and rings are PvE based, purchasable sockets, but still it's there. It's possible. Maybe an off piece for some classes that want to get some mana back, some healers. We'll see. Other items in here, just random robes, bracers, all that kind of stuff. Belt, no other effects, I believe, for casters, all just basic stuff. But once again, at hero eye level, it's likely pretty strong. Going into leather here, I didn't even look at these, honestly. Most look to just be stat-based items as well. No actual effects for leather wearers, but hey, stat. Mail wearers, I don't really see much here either at this point. But then again, like he has some unique effects down below, which, are for, agi daggers, hunters, so on and so forth. So everybody should have access to something, most likely, that can do some effect for them. Now, the one thing I do want to get into here is trinkets. So I have not simmed the anti-strength ones. I don't know if they're good for anti-strength users or healing or whatever. It heals with a chance to release living magma that will travel to the lowest health ally within 50 yards to heal them. Second wind restores mana every 1 second. A weird like MP5 5-minute cooldown. Might be worthwhile, I don't know. Some tank ones here. Absorb damage on use with verse. Splitting damage among enemies. Reducing damage taken when you're hit in combat. Strength trinket here. Heart of Rockor, Lord Rockor, whatever. Hand of Justice. Chance on melee to deal damage. Minor ICD, no big deal. The gearbox is wound each time you cause a critical strike. When wound 3 times, unleash a torrent of flames dealing damage. The gearbox can be wound more than once every 2 seconds. Sure, sounds cool. If it's Sims, well, I don't know. Now, there's 2 DPS trinkets here for casters. Dope Rel's Calling Rune, baseline intellect. Equip your spells with a chance to call on Dope Rel to backstab your target, dealing basically 230k physical damage. As far as like simming this is concerned, I haven't even seen it on raid bots. I can't even input it as like an actual item, so might be worthwhile. I don't actually know, but either way, there's that. If it's worthwhile, we'll see when it comes out. As far as the other trinket here, though, Burst of Knowledge. So I've heard a lot about this trinket. Baseline mastery. On use, each spell cast within 20 seconds will grant a stacking bonus of 600 intellect up to 20 stacks. So basically, you pop this with cooldowns. The more spells you cast during that window, typically with cooldowns, will give you a larger stacking intellect increase, so you have a really high stack towards the end of that window. Abilities with no mana cost will not trigger this trinket. Now, I've heard good things about it for Shadow Priest. I don't know how every caster works, like with mana-based abilities. Some have them, some don't. I don't know like how Arcane Mage works or how Shadow Priest works, if their abilities actually cost mana. Now, I ran sims with my own character here, looking at Warlock stuff. As far as Destro's concerned, it's a pretty significant loss. I'm playing a Heroic Spymaster and a Heroic Mag Queen's Mandate, 30k and 32k loss. The most close-ish when it comes to Mag Queen. Like it's a 10k loss, not like horrendous, but I wouldn't necessarily want to play Spymaster and this together because they are both indeed on use trinkets. And we have Affliction here being a significant loss too. Now, the question is, why is this so good for Shadow Priest from what I've heard and other classes comparatively to, Warlock, who's also a caster? Well, the answer is that last line of text. If I can switch screens here, that last line of text. I probably should go back to that. Okay, I'm good at my job, I swear. Abilities with no mana cost. Factor, I guess shameless plug, if that was up. You can use my code if you want. Abilities with no mana cost will not trigger this trinket. So if you're looking at things from an Affliction POV, your main spender during your actual damage window is Malefic Rapture. There's no mana cost on this, unfortunately. It is just straight up a 1 soul shard cost. Now, things like Haunt, Corruption, UA, Singularity, Soul Rot, they're all they cost mana, but you're typically popping this trinket after you cast those, when you pop your Dark Glare, when you start spamming your Malefic Raptures. Now, you will cast some spells between then. Drain Soul does cost mana per tick, so there's that, but sim-wise, not really the strongest option we have out there. To a similar extent, Warlock functions off spending resources, Soul Shards, Demonology, to a similar extent, looking at the abilities here. Dreadstalkers, no mana cost, just shards. Gloomhound, no mana cost, just shards. And the Gul'dan, no mana cost, just shards. Demonic Strength, no mana cost. Tyrant does cost mana. Demon Bolt, Shadow Bolt do cost mana, but I mean, like, you know, sort of a toss-up. Even Power Siphon does not. You can see here, my mana, it's restoring. You won't lose any when I cast Siphon here. Does not cost mana. So this trinket for these two specs, not the best. You do get a handful of Demonic Core procs. You know, when you tire and it expires, you can cast a lot of those instantly, which makes a bit of sense as to why it's maybe a little better for Demonology than it is Destro and Af. But for the most part, not the best. Now, if you can, think ahead a bit here with me, Affliction, not the best. Demo, not the best. Spenders, cost shards. Destro, to a similar extent, your spenders. Rain of Fire, 3 soul shards. Chaos Bolt, 2 soul shards. Shadowburn, 1 soul shard. But there's no mana cost on any of these abilities that spend shards. 1, 2, resources do big damage, right? Conflagrate, Incinerate, Immolate, all that. Yeah, I mean, they cost mana, but you want those buffs to be strong during those windows when you cast your Infernal with Rain of Chaos. You're spamming a bunch of, Chaos Bolts and Shadow Burns, or even Rain of Fires, right? When you cast your Tyrant, or spamming spells back to back to back. When you're casting your Dark Glare and casting multiple Raptures back to back to back. You want those to be, those windows to be where you gain the most value from this trinket, which unfortunately for Warlock is not really going to be an option. So as far as that's concerned, not looking the best there. Some other things here and there, some offhands. I guess there's a set with this, an offhand. This is Intellect offhand. I don't know what it even does. The Hammer of Grace, which I believe is somewhere up here. Hammer of Grace. There it is. The bonus. I don't even know what it is. Not sure. But there's a bonus there with a mace, and it looks to be an offhand. I can't use that because I can't use maces, but that's okay. So there are a handful of minor bonuses in the raid that you can indeed use, get a hold of, depending what class you are and all that. But the cool thing here is that if you're missing pieces in your gear set, whether it's your main or your alt, you have that Dinar system, those relic coffer keys back, which you can buy things with. This list of gear here is items that can only be purchased from relic coffer keys. So this cloak, this ring, this monocle, which I'm sure is a cool transmog, this shoulders. Going through here, I don't believe there's some items that have melee damage on them. I don't believe there's any like cloth damage effects on these items. The staff here as well, but if you want them there, they can be there to fill holes in your gear. Here are all the loot tables and bosses once again if you want. There's that tank ring. So as far as the event's concerned, nothing that I've seen is incredibly impactful for Warlock. This is still a TBD, I guess. The trinket, maybe it's good for AF with Haunt, Shadows Embrace modifiers, I don't know. But even if you're like just gearing up your main still, needing some hero gear, for the most part, Gilded Crest are the hard ones to come by now. People have a lot of hero crest laying around for the most part. You can upgrade those pieces. Come in here, target an item with your relic coffer keys. If you don't get it to drop, you can farm the raid every week. And honestly, a new raid, probably not incredibly tightly tuned, but it'll be fun. And if you're looking to gear up alts, also a great way to do it. You can queue LFR through Heroic, Veteran, all the way through Champion, and have a good time with that. So that's basically it. Not looking the best for Warlock, but as far as overall gearing is concerned and general fun, I think it's there. Welcome back, Dinars. Let's hope they're around in patch 11.1 for the actual raid as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up, and hopefully it helped clarify on questions you might have had about the Blackrock Depths anniversary event that's coming up on the 22nd. I doubt this raid's going to be tuned incredibly tough. We'll see. I mean, there is varying difficulties again. I mean, you've literally got, Raid Finder, Normal, and Heroic with the, varying eye levels and stuff. And hero gear is pretty solid. I mean, that's Heroic gear from the raid, which is whatever's out now. I forgot the name of the raid already. Good lord, my brain is shut off. Nerva Palace, there we go. Not too bad. Probably a pretty good angle for gearing alts as well, depending where this goes. But I'm excited for it. I'll be doing it on stream maybe the day it comes out. I don't really know. Figure it out. But I like the bringing back of the Dinar-esque system in Relic Coffer Keys. It's cool, and hopefully maybe it's foreshadowing for raids down the line. So we'll see where it goes. Like always, if you want any add-ons, weekly wars, and profiles in the video, links to Twitch, Discord, my website, all down below. You can get them all for free. At the same time, a massive shout out to my patrons, always, for all support on Patreon. Y'all, thank y'all a million times. Without y'all support, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, making content for you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, it should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. I believe there are drops active on Tuesday, the 22nd, when this actual, when the patch comes out and all that. I believe for like a sand beetle. I'll be streaming. Shameless plug. If you guys want to come by and get them, whether it's me or somebody else in the WoW category, whoever you prefer, be sure to do so. The event looks pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Warlock might be in a bad spot tuning wise, but I mean, you know, putting that aside, I think it'll be fun. And hopefully 11.1 PTRs on the horizon, and we can get some actual things coming into Warlock, because Lord knows, at least numerically, it needs it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.